in the Cambridge IELTS 15 academic book. As you all know, Cambridge 15 is the latest release of a series of books that are released by Cambridge each year. So this year's edition is 15. So we have already made videos related to how you can answer the questions related to passages 1 and 2 in our earlier videos, in our previous ones. If you haven't watched them, I strongly recommend that you start watching those videos, because you will understand, you will have a continuity of how to solve the whole of the reading test. For your ease and convenience, we have divided this video into 3 parts. So each reading passage would be dealt with in one video. So as such, there are 3 parts of this video. So this is the final part, so wherein we are going to answer questions that are related to the third part. So I am going to help you answer 3 important question types. So the pattern of how we are going to answer is, I'm not just going to show you the answer, but we are going to find the answers together. Isn't it interesting, guys? So if you can follow the video till the end, I'm sure that you will start learning how to approach the question type. Because when we look at the comments on our videos, most of the students tell me that the technique, whatever is given in the video, is quite interesting and they're able to apply the technique. So I thought, why don't I show it with a real Cambridge test example, so that the similar kind of pattern can be seen in the real IELTS test too. So that can help students to perform better and score better. So as a part of that, in the first few questions of this video, I'm going to teach you how to attempt multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions is one of the easiest kinds of questions. If you know the methodology, if you know the right technique, the right method, then I'm sure that you will be able to crack multiple choice questions in seconds. So the technique what we are going to use is, as you can see on this slide, there are the questions listed. So there's a common mistake that students often make, and that is they continue reading the options once they read the question. So reading the options gives you, the answer is not revealed by the options. It just gives you more confusion, makes you feel confused, and you will lose track of the question. Other than that, there is nothing important in the options. All you have to find is the answer from the paragraph. So paragraph reading plays a key role in answering multiple choice. So for this, what we are going to do is, we are going to read the question. We are not just going to read the options. We are not going to read the options at the beginning. All we are going to do is read the question, understand it. Then we are going to look at the paragraph. We're going to read the paragraph properly and then come back to look for the answer. So this is the simplest and the easiest way to answer multiple choice without wasting much time to read the options. So that is the point to be noted. So these are the 6 questions that we are going to answer, and I'm going to show you the paragraph as well. So I have divided the paragraph into multiple slides so that it becomes easier and more convenient for you to look, because the font size matters when you're reading along with the trainer. So this is the passage, what is exploration? Here I have divided it into 2 paragraphs, and this is the continuation, paragraph 3 and 4. This is the next part, paragraph 5 and paragraph 6, and this one is the final paragraph. So the whole passage is divided into 7 paragraphs, from which we are going to answer these 6 questions. Forgive me for the font size. I know it's small, but I'm sure that we are not going to focus more on the question for much of our time, so that's okay. So let me do it. Let me start answering the questions, and you're going to do it with me. So just have a pen and paper in hand so that you would keep noting the important points and keep searching for their synonyms and the related context, and you are going to solve it with me. So be ready, guys. You're going to learn the perfect way to get multiple choice questions correctly. So let's look at the 27th question. The writer refers to visitors to New York to illustrate the point that. Here, the writer is talking something related to visitors, that to a particular area that is called New York, to illustrate the point. So he wants to prove a point. What is that point that the writer is mentioning about visitors to New York? So that is our keyword, visitors to New York. So let's continue reading the paragraph, and as I told you, we are not going to look at the options as of now. So let's start. We are all explorers. So the writer is beginning the passage with a wonderful sentence that all of us are explorers. Our desire to discover and then share that newfound knowledge is part of what makes us human. So it is our desire, it is our quest to discover something new and share that knowledge with others is what is making a human quality. That means it is our instinct to explore new places, and that is there in our in our nature, the human nature itself. Indeed, this has played an important part in our success as a species. So we are so successful as a species only because we have the interest, we have the desire to discover and share our knowledge. Long before the first cavemen slumped down beside the fire and grunted news that there were plenty of wild beasts over yonder, our ancestors had learned the value of sending out scouts to investigate the unknown. So it's all talking about how this desire actually grew. So the cavemen explored something, and he's also telling that our ancestors have sent out some scouts to investigate the unknown areas. So this is all about how exploration actually began. So this questioning nature is nothing but this desire to get the answers, to find the answers and then explore, undoubtedly helped our species spread around the globe. So humans have spread so wildly around the globe just because of this tendency. So man did not stop himself at one place. He started exploring new places and finding out something which is unknown to others, and thus the globe started to expand. So just as it is nowadays, no doubt helps the last nomadic Pinan maintain their existence in the depleted forest of Borneo, and visitor negotiate the subways of New York. So why are so many visitors visiting the subways of New York? So that is what is the question, right? So why is this given as an example? So this is given as an example because the writer wants to show that the human instinct, that questioning nature within us is what has to be the most prominent feature. So he wants to tell that this questioning nature is helping us to develop as a species. So now let's go back to the options and look at the options. Exploration is an intrinsic element. What is the meaning of intrinsic? That is within ourselves, within us. So it is an intrinsic element of being human. Yes, the human nature itself is defined by exploration. So we got the answer in the first option itself. Exploration is an intrinsic element of being human. That is what separates humans from the others. So now, if you cannot finalize the answer here, maybe because of the words and not everyone is comfortable with the words, then what do? We go by elimination method. We will look at why the other options are wrong so that we can finalize the right one. So let's look at option B. Most people are enthusiastic about exploring. Did you read something related to being enthusiastic, happy, thrilled, excited? No, right? So there is no mention about that. So option B is eliminated. Now option C. Exploration can lead to surprising result. Did the writer talk anything about results of exploration? What will happen because of exploration? Nothing at all. So this option is also eliminated. Then most people find exploration daunting. I hope you know the meaning of daunting, but if you don't know, maybe it's something which is very difficult to deal with. Very disappointing or something like that. But did you read anything related to this in the paragraph that exploration is daunting? No, he's just mentioning that visitors to New York are increasing because they want to explore and find out something new, because that's what makes them human. That's the human tendency that is there within us. So what is the right answer? A. Option A is the right answer. So I hope you understood the strategy. Now let's continue applying this strategy to the next set of questions as well. According to the second paragraph, now here the question itself gives you a good clue that you need not read the entire passage, but you just have to look at the second paragraph. According to the second paragraph, what is the writer's view of explorers? So it's asking how is the writer feeling? What is his opinion about explorers? So let's look at the second paragraph. Over the years, we've come to think of explorers as a peculiar breed. What is the meaning of peculiar? Peculiar means something unique, something different, not usual. So something strange and something unique. So he's telling that over the years, that means as time kept passing, we are beginning to think that explorers as a particular peculiar breed that is different from the rest of us, different from those who merely well traveled. So he's just telling that we are beginning to think that explorers are something special. They are different from the rest of us, different from the travelers who just travel and come back. Okay, so perhaps there is a type of person more suited to seeking out the new, a type of caveman more inclined to risk venturing out. So he's also telling that we are thinking that this person who wants to explore is more suitable to seeking the new. That means he wants to get the answers, to find the answers for something new. Maybe he is also inclined, that means he is interested, fascinated to risk venturing out. He wants to take the risk by going out and exploring other places. So this is what we think. So what does he say? That however does not take away from the fact that we all have this instinct. So he's telling that not just those explorers are having that quality. Each one of us, we all have that instinct even today. So it's not that something limited to the past. So even today, each one of us, everyone has this instinct within ourselves, and that too in all kinds of professions. In all professions it is there, whether you are an artist or a biologist or an astronomer. Everybody, each and every person on this earth shares this instinct. What is that instinct? We want to explore something new and we want to find out something interesting. So this is what the writer is thinking about exploring. What is that? Everybody has the instinct within ourselves. That explorer instinct is always there in all types of professions. So now let's see what is the right answer. Their discoveries have brought benefits and disadvantages. Did you read anything about benefits, disadvantages? Nothing at all. So simply eliminate the option. Their main value is teaching others. Did you read that explorers are going to teach others, share something with others? No. In paragraph A, we found that people want to share knowledge, but the question is about the second paragraph. So in the second paragraph, did we read anything about sharing, teaching others? No. No. So option B is also eliminated. Option C, they act on the urge that is common to everybody. Yes. So we all have that. We all have that instinct of exploring. So which is the right option, guys? Option C. But let's see why D cannot be the right answer. They tend to be more attracted to certain professions than others. That means exploration is there in only some professions. But what did the passage tell us? It's there in all sorts of professions. So is it right? No, option D is also the wrong answer. So finally we get the right answer as option C. So this is how you have to answer that. Let's proceed to the next question now. I hope you're finding it easy. If you have any further doubts related to any of these questions, just put the number of the question and your doubt in the comment section and I will definitely reply to that. So let's look at question number 29. The writer refers to a description of Edgin Heath to suggest that. So the writer is writing something about Edgin Heath. So what is the point that he wants to make? So this is our clue. What is that? Edgin Heath. So let's see. Now this is the second paragraph. I'm done with reading that. So let's proceed to the third one. Thomas Hardy. Who is Thomas Hardy? If you know, it's really good. But if you don't know, you don't need to bother about that because what we are looking for is Edgin Heath. So Thomas Hardy set some of his novels in Edgin Heath. So who is Thomas Hardy? He is a novelist and he set some of his novels in Edgin Heath. What is it? A fictional area. What is the meaning of fictional? Fictional is that it is not real. So there is no existence of such area. It's just an area that is made up, that is created for the sake of writing a novel. So Edgin Heath, which is a fictional area of uncultivated land. So it's kind of barren land, and used the landscape. So what landscape is nothing but the area. So what did Thomas Hardy do with this area called Edgren Heath? He used the landscape to suggest the desires and fears of his characters. So the emotions, the expressions of the characters were conveyed, were portrayed using this area called Edgren Heath. So this is what is mentioned about Edgren Heath. So if you look at the next sentence, it also tells something about how Thomas Hardy is writing his novels. He is delving into means he's going deep into. He's researching more into. So he's delving into matters we all recognize because they are common to humanity. So all these matters, like matters means the emotions here, desires, fears, all of them are common to all humans, isn't it? So by using Edgren Heath is a fictional area of land. Using that landscape, what is Thomas Hardy doing? He's trying to showcase the emotions like fear, desire, and all that of the characters. Now let's look at the options to finalize the answer. Hardy was writing about his own experience. Is he writing about his experience or experience of the characters? Yes, experience of the characters. He's not writing about his experience. So option A is eliminated. Then Hardy was mistaken about the nature. Did you read that Hardy was mistaken? He made a mistake or something like that? Obviously not. So let's eliminate this option. Now let's look at option C. Hardy's aim was to investigate people's emotional states. Yes, what are the emotional states? Desires, fears, and all that. So he wanted to write about those kinds of emotional states in his novels. So option C is the right answer because it mentions emotional state. Now, why not option D? Hardy's aim was to show the attraction of isolation. Did you read anything about isolation or attraction, something like that? No. So, even by following elimination technique, you can get the right answer. Now let's proceed to the fourth question, that is the 30th question. In the fourth paragraph, again there is a clue. What's that? You just have to read the fourth paragraph. So in the fourth paragraph, the writer refers to golden age. So he's talking about something called golden age to suggest that. So he wants to suggest something with the help of this term called golden age. Let's find out. So this is the fourth paragraph. In this book about the exploration of the Earth's surface. So what is the title of the book? Exploration of Earth's surface. I have confined myself. What is the meaning of confined? No, I have restricted myself. So the writer is telling that I have written a book about the exploration of the Earth's surface, and in that I am only talking about certain things. What are they? To those whose travels were real. So I'm not talking about fictional travel. I'm talking about realistic travel experiences and who also aimed at more than personal discovery. So I don't want to write about people who went to explore for their own benefit. I want to write about people who discovered more than what is required for themselves. So this is the content of the book. But did we find something called golden age? No. So let's continue reading. But that still left me with another problem. The word explorer has become associated with a past era. So now whenever the writer says that, he is an explorer or she is an explorer, people always started thinking that it happened in the past. They are not relating exploration with the present tense. They are always looking at it as if it is in the past. We think back to a golden age. So usually exploration means we always think about something in the past which is called golden age, as if exploration peaked in the 19th century. So we are only thinking that discoveries and exploration was a thing of the past. We are not concerned with what is happening in the present and what has to be discovered in the future. So we are only thinking that there is something called golden age that is in the 19th century where most of the discoveries happened. um, but so as if the process of discovery is now declined, we are thinking that now nobody is ready to discover, nobody is interested in discovering. Though the truth is that we have only named 1.5 of this planet's species. So we are thinking in a wrong way that discoveries and explorations are limited to the past. But what is the truth? The truth is that we have only been able to name 1.5 million species of the planet, and there are more than 10 million. So that not including bacteria. So many species are yet to be discovered and named. But we only confine ourselves to golden age, which we think that only in the 19th century the explorations have peaked. But in reality, it is wrong. So we are making a mistake. There is a error in the thought process. So let's see what is the answer. The amount of useful information produced has decreased. Are you talking about, did you read about amount of information produced? No. Option A is clearly the wrong one. Then fewer people are interested in exploring than. Are they talking about fewer people are interested, or are they talking that, during the golden age, they thought that explorations were more. So there is no mention about how many people are interested in exploring. So option B is wrong. Then let's look at option C. Recent developments have made exploration less exciting. Did the writer mention anything about how exciting it is? No. Let's look at option D. We are wrong to think that exploration is no longer necessary. Yes. So our thought process is wrong. We are making a mistake that discoveries are no longer essential. But what is the reality? Explorations are necessary because we only named 1 million, 1.5 million species. So many species are left to be discovered and named. So option D seems to be the right answer for this question. I hope you are able to follow. Let's look at the 31st question. In the 6th paragraph, so clearly we did not read the 5th paragraph. In the 6th paragraph, when discussing about the definition of exploration, the writer argues that. So in the 6th paragraph, they are discussing something about the definition of exploration. Now we have to find out what the writer is arguing. So let's go directly to the 6th paragraph. So this is the 6th paragraph. Each definition is slightly different and tends to reflect the field of endeavor of each pioneer. So, depending upon the field of endeavor means effort in the field in which the person works. So, like for example, let's say an artist is exploring something, his definition will be different from what a scientist feels about exploration. So, depending on the field in which a person is working, the definition will vary. That is what is the first sentence. It was the same whoever I asked. The prominent historian would say. So now what is the historian saying? That exploration was a thing of the past. Because he's a historian, he feels that exploration belongs to the past. Now the cutting edge scientist, cutting edge means recent, modern scientist. What the scientist would say? That it was of the present. So depending upon the area of work, definitions of exploration would vary. So, but what is the writer arguing? It was the same. It was the same whoever I asked. So, regardless of the profession, the person said the same thing in a different language. That's it. So, they set their own particular criteria. The common factor in their approach being that unlike many of us who simply enjoy the travel or discovering new things, both had a very definite objective from the outset and also a desire to record their feelings. So, what are the qualities of an explorer? The explorer doesn't just want to go and travel and find out new things, but they have an objective. That means they have an aim and also a desire to record the things. So they just don't want to travel, they want to record it in the form of videos or photos or documentaries or something like that. So these are the qualities of an explorer. So have you understood this? Now let's look at the options to find out the right answer. So people tend to relate exploration to their professional interests. Yes. So depending on the profession, they are relating exploration. Some think that exploration belongs to the past, like the historians. Others, like scientists, feel that it is related to the present. So people tend to relate exploration to their own professional interest. Option A is the right one, but let's eliminate the others. Certain people are likely to misunderstand the nature. Did the writer argue that they are misunderstanding it? Nothing about misunderstanding, so this is wrong. It is generally accepted definition has changed over time. Did he say that with time the definition keeps changing? No, it is the same whoever I asked. Remember we read that? So here the writer is telling it was the same whoever I asked. So it is not going to change. Let's look at the last. Historians and scientists have more valid definitions than general public. Are they making any comparison with the general public? Did you read anything about what people think? Nothing at all. We only read about historians and scientists, but we did not read what the general public are thinking. So this is wrong. So what is the right answer? It is option A. Now let's find out the answer for the last question in this set of multiple choice questions. In the last paragraph, the writer explains that he is interested. What is the interest of the writer? That is what we have to find out. Okay, so I would best declare my own bias. So now the writer is telling what he is feeling about exploration. As a writer, I am interested in exploration of ideas. So the writer is interested in the exploration of new ideas. Okay, then I have done many great expeditions and each one was unique. So the writer tells that he was an explorer himself and that he explored various places which each one was unique. So and when you look at the last sentence, again it tells, this is what interests me. So let's look at this sentence. Aside from the deep sea and the deep underground, it is the era of specialists. However, this is to disregard the role of human mind it has in conveying remote places. So, and what is the interesting aspect? How a fresh interpretation. What is the meaning of interpretation? Fresh conclusion, something new, even on a well-traveled route, can give its readers new insights. So let me explain what this sentence means. So imagine that you are traveling along a route, but you already know that route very well. So you have traveled along that route multiple times. That's why it's called well-traveled route. That's not a new one for you. But every time you go along the route, your mind is trying to find something new. It's trying to explore something new, even though the route is well known to you, and that's how it's giving new insights, new information, something new which you don't know, something very fresh. So that is what is the interest. So what is the interest of the writer? He's telling that the human mind has this wonderful power to give something new even when you're traveling along a known route, something which is familiar to you. So even though you know the route, you are learning something new. That is what is the interest of the writer. So let's see which option gives that. How someone's personality is reflected. So did you read about some personality of some people? No. Human ability to cast new light on the places that are familiar. Yes, even though the place is familiar to you, the human mind is giving you something new. Option B is the right answer. Now let's see why the last two options are incorrect. How travel writing has evolved to meet the changing demands. Did you read something about travel writing, guys? Nothing at all. So the feelings that writers develop. Did you read about writers' feelings anywhere? No. So that is eliminated. So what is the right answer? It is option B. So this is how it's so easy and simple to find out the answers for multiple choice, and here is the answer key for these 6 questions. I hope you got an idea of what the passage says, each and every paragraph says. So this is called skimming. So now that we have skimmed the paragraph, you will see how easy it is to answer the follow-up questions. That is the next set of questions. It becomes so easy for us to answer them. So let's look at that. So the next set of questions we are going to answer belong to matching the nouns. So noun can be a name or a place or an animal or a thing. You all know that. So here they have listed some explorers. So names of some explorers are given and we are supposed to match what each of these explorers have done. So And here you can see a special instruction called NB. So if you are a subscriber to our channel and if you have been following our videos, I have shown these kinds of questions many times and I have explained how to answer them. But if you are a newcomer to our channel, then if you are a new visitor, it must be told to you that NB means nota bene, and to define NB, it means that you can see that there are various options A to E. One or more than one alphabets will repeat more than once. That means, let's say that B is the answer for one question. It is not limited to just one, but B can be the answer for the next question as well. So we don't know whether the alphabets are going to repeat or not. That is the meaning of NB. So if you have NB, definitely at least one option will repeat twice. That is the key that you have to remember. So NB means options will repeat. That's what you have to remember. Now let's see which of these options is going to repeat. So there are two methods to answer these questions. I'm going to teach you the easiest method to match the nouns. So when you see the list of explorers, you must consider yourself very fortunate because we are going to learn a time saving technique to answer these questions. So let's see. There are two ways to answer this question. There are some test takers who will read the questions, they'll try to understand it, and because we have already followed skimming, they will go to the paragraph that contains the information and they will match the person to the given question. But we are not going to follow that approach. What we are going to do is simply go to the paragraph and keep circling all these nouns. Don't even read the sentence. Just be bothered about highlighting or circling the names, and then I'm going to teach you how easy it would be to answer the questions. So let's look at the list of explorers. I'm going to teach you practically. So first one is Peter Fleming. Second one is Ran Fiennes. Third one is Chris Bonington. Then fourth one is Robert Hanbury Tennyson. The last name is Wilfred Thesiger. So let's find out which paragraph or paragraphs mention these names quickly. So I'm going to teach you how to skim in a zigzag method. So just run your eyes like this. Don't just read like this, guys. Look at my cursor movement like this, like this. So you're going to run your eyes like this and try to find the names. Let's see. The first name we are intending to find is Peter Fleming. So did we find any Peter? No, we found Peenan here. That's wrong. Let's go to the next one. See how easy it becomes if you look at it like this. No Peter Fleming here. Let's see this. Thomas Hardy is given. Yes, so here we got our name, Peter Fleming. So just circle this. Now let's look at the next name, which is Ran Fiennes. So let's read that. Ran, I'm just trying to find out something with a capital letter because we know proper nouns usually begin with a capital letter. Yes, so here it is, Ran Fiennes, and you can see that there is Chris Bonington, then there is Robin Hanbury Tennyson, and then you can also find Wilfred. So all the names that we are looking for are found in the same passage except Peter Fleming, which is found in this passage, but at least we know where the answers actually are. So now we are going to read all the sentences. Yes, you got the point right. We are going to read all the sentences and then we are going to answer the questions. Try to understand the meaning because synonyms are very important. He referred, who is that he? We are supposed to find. He referred to a relevance to the form of transport used. So this particular explorer is referring to kinds of transport. So different means of transport, it could be two-wheelers or four-wheelers, cars, buses, and using animals, something like that. So he is talking about transport. Your clue here is transport. So I told you to have a pen and paper ready. So please write it down as for 33rd question, the clue is forms of transport. Next, he described the feelings on coming back home after a long journey. So this particular person is talking about the feeling, how a person will feel after coming back home from an exploration. So here you please write it down. For 34th question, the clue is feelings after coming back. Next, he worked for the benefit of a specific groups of people. So what did this explorer do? He focused on a particular special type of people, a special group of people. So the clue is specific groups of people. Then 36th one, he did not consider, did not, negative is very important guys, he did not consider learning about oneself as an essential part. So he thought that you have to know about others and things which don't matter to you. Learning about oneself is not very important. So what are you going to write? Learning about self, not very important. That is how you have to understand it. Now the last question. He defined exploration. So somebody is defining exploration as unique and value to others. So there are two aspects in the definition. First one, exploration should be unique. Second one, exploration should be helpful to others. It should be beneficial to others. So now you understood. So first one is transport, second one is feelings, third one specific groups, fourth one learning about self is not important, fifth one exploration is defined as unique and valuable to others. Now let's go in an order and try to find out. You will see how simple it would be. Now let's begin with Peter Fleming. So, explorer and travel writer Peter Fleming talks of the moment when the explorer returns to the existence that he has left behind with the loved ones. So, returns means coming back. So, who is talking about how a explorer feels after coming back? That is Peter Fleming. Now, let's look at the options. Yeah, he described the feelings on coming back after a long journey. So who did that? Peter Fleming did the research on that. So 34th answer will be A. So let's look at the next one. Who is that? Ran Fiennes. So Ran, yeah. There is so here is how some of today's explorers define the word. So who is defining the word? Ran Fiennes, who is called the greatest living explorer, said an explorer is someone who has done something that no human has done before. That means he is doing something very unique, something special, and something which is useful. That means valuable to others. So who has defined the word exploration? Ran Fiennes. How did he define that explorer is somebody who is doing something special and useful? Let's go back to the options. Yes, so he defined exploration as being unique and valuable to others. So who did this? Ran Fiennes. So what's the answer? B. So the answer for the 37th question is B. I hope you are able to understand. Now let's move on to the next scientist, next explorer. Who is he? Chris Bonington. Let's see what he has discussed. Chris Bonington, who is a leading mountaineer, felt that exploration was to be found in an act of physically touching the unknown. So when you go somewhere, what is your aim? You have to touch that with your hand, with your feet and all that. You have to feel that. So you have to go, you have to have gone somewhere new. So he's telling that whenever you go somewhere new, you have to experience that physically. But is any of our questions talking about physically experiencing that thrill and something like that? No. So we are only concerned about transport, benefit to a specific group of people, and learning about oneself is not important. Nothing about physically examining things. So option C is not at all useful. So this is how you have to eliminate the wrong option. Now let's look at the option D. That is Robin Hanbury Tennyson. So let's look at this. So Robin Hanbury Tennyson, who is a campaigner. Campaigner means a person who will work, who will campaign, who will work on behalf of the remote so-called tribal people. So specific group of people. Who are they? Tribals. So who worked for the benefit of the tribal people? Robin Hanbury Tennyson. So let's go back to the options. You see that he worked for the benefit of specific groups of people. Who are those specific groups? Tribals. So what is the answer? It is D. So now we are left with two questions. Transport and learning about oneself is not important. And we have one more option. I told you that whenever you see NB, one option could be repeated two times. So maybe the option E is going to be repeated twice, because so far we did not encounter any such situation. But let's confirm it only after reading about Wilfred. So let's see what he has done. um, Wilfred Thesiger, who crossed the Arabian empty quarter in 1946. So he explored Arabia's empty quarter in the year 1946. So how did he do that? He and belongs to an era of unmechanized travel. Unmechanized travel means there is no transport. So people used to use animals or something like that, but there is no mechanization, no modern technology, no machinery, nothing is there. So told me, if I had gone across by camel when I could have gone by car, it would have been a stunt. So he's talking about how what kind of transport is used, using camels and car and all that. So are they modes of transport or not? Obviously. So E is the answer for the 33rd question. So let's continue reading because we still need to find the answer for the 36th question. Um, to him. To him means it's talking about Wilfred. Exploration meant bringing back information from a remote place regardless of any great self-discovery. So self-discovery is not very important. Exploration only means bringing back the information from a remote place. So uh, learning about oneself, discovering about oneself is not very important, not very essential. So 36th answer is option E. Can you see that NB is satisfied now? Have you all understood? Yes. So here is the answer key for these 5 questions. As you can see, option E is repeated twice. So now let's move on to the last 3 questions in this reading test that belong to summary completion. I must say this is the easiest form of questions, but the others are simple too if you can understand the strategy in how to answer them properly. And I'm sure all of you are on par with me so far. So let's complete the summary, but here reading the instructions is the key. The instructions mention no more than 2 words. So your answer can be written in the form of a single word or a maximum of 2 words, but you should not write the third word. Otherwise, it would be a mistake. You can still write the answer in a single word. Please remember that. So the writer's own bias. Remember we read about this, guys. I would declare my own bias. So the answers for this summary completion would be found in this paragraph. This is how you have to finalize the paragraph before starting to read. So the writer has experience of a large number of dash. So the writer has experience. That means he has experienced large number of dash. What is that? We have to find out. So let's go to that. Okay, so I have done great many. Great many means large number of expeditions. So what is the answer for the first question, guys? Expeditions. So now let's read the sentence. The writer has experience of a large number of expeditions. Is it making sense? Yes, obviously. So expeditions is the right answer. And he also tells that each of them was unique. So because the word limit is 2, you can also write unique expeditions. You can only write the answer as expeditions, or you can also include the term unique. There's no harm in that. Okay. So, and was the first stranger that previously dash people had encountered. So previously, it's talking about some kind of people, and he was the first stranger. So let's see what the writer is mentioning about other people. I have lived for months alone with isolated groups of people. So people were isolated. So isolated is the answer for the 39th question. Are you seeing how easy it is? He believes that there is no need for further exploration of Earth's dash. So something belongs to the Earth. That is what we have to find out. What belongs to the Earth? Okay, so let's see. Though through my books, I have found a new slant, explored a new idea. Time has long passed for the continental voyages. Continental is not Earth because Earth is a planet. Another walk to the poles, another crossing of the empty quarter. We know how the land surface of our planet is. So what is the writer mentioning about the planet? Land surface. So you can write the answer as land surface, Earth's land surface, or you can also write Earth's surface. Both are right. So I hope you have followed how to answer summary completion questions. Here is the answer key, and those words which are given within brackets are optional. You need not write them, or because the word count mentions 2 words, you can include them. So I hope that all of you have understood the technique of answering multiple choice, matching and summary completion. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and please consider subscribing to our channel World of English Exams. So till I see you with another interesting video that is useful for your IELTS preparation, I wish you all the best and happy preparation, guys.